ready? Hey, it's time for another House 17 video. All right. Welcome back to House 17. Today we're going to talk about sleep. All the tips in today's video are also posted on the House 17 website in the resources section, which is linked in the description section of this video. When stress is high, sleep is even more important. But what do we do when our children are having a hard time sleeping? Today we're going to talk about some tips to help make sure your children are getting the sleep that they need. But before we can make a plan on how to help your children sleep, we have to evaluate the situation. Is your child having a hard time falling asleep at night? Do they wake up in the middle of the night and come to your room? Or do they go to the kitchen? Or do they go to the bathroom? Do they have nightmares that wake them up? Do they sleep through the night but then have a difficult time waking up in the morning? The right tips work best when addressing the right problems. So first you have to think about what exactly is getting in the way, and maybe even asking your children what is getting in the way of them sleeping through the night. First off, let's take a look at your children's sleeping environment. Are there lights or noises from outside that could easily disturb someone trying to fall asleep? Do they need curtains, or do they need to put their bed in a different place in the room? Are they playing on their phone, their tablet, or their laptop while they're in bed? Is it too warm, or are there too many toys on the bed? Is their bedtime consistent? Are they eating or drinking just before bed? Or if they are drinking before bed, are they drinking caffeinated beverages maybe within 4 hours of their bedtime? Are they anxious or afraid something bad might happen and that keeps them up at night? These are all things that can affect the ability to fall asleep at night. And if you're noticing these behaviors in your children, it might be time to evaluate if a change is necessary to improve sleep quality. For example, if they're eating or drinking just before bed, this can make their body uncomfortable, as sleep and food digestion are not the most compatible events. And drinks, especially caffeinated drinks, are more likely to keep your child up and feeling active. This doesn't just include coffee for maybe some of your teenagers, but also sodas and sometimes high sugar content drinks. So you just want to pay attention. Is there caffeine in this, and how is that affecting my kiddo? In addition to this, right, obviously if they're drinking a lot of liquids before bed, then that's going to keep them up because maybe they have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. So the easiest thing to start with is to begin with a bedtime routine. So pick 1 to 3 relaxing activities for your child to do every night before bed. Common activities include baths or showers, brushing their teeth, reading a short story, journaling, meditating, listening to relaxing music, massaging your own hands or feet, or putting on lotion even. Keep the start time for nightly routines consistent so your child ends up in bed around the same time every evening. And most importantly, reduce activities in bed. Some activities decrease the body and brain's regular sleep cycles, such as looking at your phone in bed or doing homework in bed. These activities actually teach our bodies that bed is not just for sleep, but for other activities. And then when we finally decide to sleep, our body and our brain no longer know the difference and go on thinking as we normally would when we're awake, right? Laying in bed at night and you're just constantly being barraged by thoughts, partially because your body is not associating bed with sleep. For some children who might be experiencing fear or anxiety, falling asleep and staying asleep might be difficult, and they may be finding their way into your bed more frequently than not. In these cases, and in cases of children that are having a hard time developing a routine, setting up something like a sticker chart can be really helpful. Each morning, after following their bedtime routine or staying in bed the whole night, they can be rewarded and praised with a sticker. By rewarding their new bedtime routine, you increase the consistency of their bedtime, and you also reward them for learning to self-regulate at night. Kids who are more anxious or afraid might rely on their caregivers to help them regulate when they're scared at night. However, as kids get older, it's appropriate for them to start learning how to regulate those fears or worries more on their own. Teaching them mindfulness skills, such as what we practiced in the last video in checking caregiving, can also help this, and rewarding them for their bravery can further their learning. Finally, Sometimes sleep problems can be at a stage where professional help is required. For example, some children might continue to have difficulty falling asleep even with an ideal sleep environment and routine. In these cases, it might be worth reaching out to School 17 and their partners. We have resources to assist you in getting more specific and strategic help for your family. As always, House 17 will continue to update resources on the House 17 website and uploading new content for you and your family. Stay well and come back soon.